and 2 Mercedes drivers.
We're missing Sinister.
Here we go.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
Okay, we are now live.
Are we officially live, or
We
we
are.
might be live?
Are we on a ventilator?
Don't worry, we're yeah, we're live. I just checked
Oh,
the YouTube
sorry.
chat.
It's below the belt.
That is a little bit. Anyway, righto.
Yes.
Good morning, good evening, everybody around the world watching. This is the Formula One British. It is too early in the morning for me. The Great British Grand Prix here at Silverstone. I'm joined today by fellow commentator Dylan, as we have Damage and Jonathan off this weekend for their Formula World Endurance Championship race, and our guest commentary down the pit lanes today is Apex. How are we doing, gentlemen?
Doing good.
Very excited for another great Grand Prix. As the season is coming towards the later stages of it, and the championship is forming up quite well.
Yes, we're approaching the halfway mark as we start. It's always the case when we hit Britain. We had a few technical glitches at the start of the session, so we do apologise for the early couple of minutes, but don't worry, no one has completed a lap yet. The drivers are starting to take out their out laps. Again, you'll see yellow flags waved most of the time throughout qualifying. Doesn't necessarily mean there is an incident. It just means that there are probably drivers allowing the faster cars to go past. Clear skies today in Britain. Slightly cloudy, but we should have no rain. So that means that we will have a full dry race with drivers able to go for the usual one-stop strategy preferably, but the two-stop if they're going for an extra set of quicks. How do you think the strategies could play out for the higher-ranked teams today, Dylan?
It'll be very interesting to see what happens. The Alfa Romeos are both fighting for the Drivers' Championship, so team strategy between the two drivers is going to be very interesting to see how they handle competing against each other and trying to catch Snipper Pig, who's still in the lead.
And how's it looking down from the pit lanes there in a virtual world there, Apex? What are your thoughts for today, mate?
It's looking good. From what I see, a lot of the front runners are. I think they're going to set a benchmark time at the beginning of the session on softs. I'm a little bit surprised to see most people going for red mark softs. No one even attempting to try and set a quick time on mediums, except Dilsack in the Toro Rosso. Everyone else on track setting times on the reds. Seems like they're just going to go up for out-and-out pace in the first stint, and then hit onto either hards or mediums depending on their tire wear throughout the race.
Yeah, Silverstone's always an interesting track. You'll either see people start on the softs and finish on the hards, or if they can, they'll start on softs and try to finish on the mediums. Especially around that first turn 1 and turn 2, you see a lot of tyre degradation happening in those corners, as you do for the last couple of turns of the racetrack in 16 and 17 as well. So we do have a couple of drivers who have crossed the line set benchmark times. So currently, Snipper Pig is on pole position. He's got a 1:26, I believe. My eyes are a bit shut. I can't see the balloons there because of the sky. 26.8 Snipper has set. And Dreamsy's following behind him on 27.1 with Ripper Rick on 27.2. And the rest of the drivers in the high 27s to 28s. So...
And Snipper has retired from the session. So apparently he's
happy with it?
apparently very happy with his lap time. We'll ask him why he did that, as we're expecting an interview with him after this qualifying session ends.
I do believe I just saw him close to the final, in the middle of Sector 3, towards the end of the lap, in the middle of the track. Might have... It's not a place you go off. I'm really surprised. I don't know what happened. I didn't have eyes on him at the time.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see the incident list from the stewards to see if there's anything. Ooh, hang on. Terminal damage to Sniffer Pig.
Oh dear.
DNF, so it looks like potentially on that last corner. Was he going into the pits, Apex, or was he...
Must have been. It was to the left side of the pit entry. I can't imagine where he would have had an incident. I don't...
Yeah, that third sector is not the easiest place to get terminal damage, so...
Right.
Yeah, that'll definitely be something that we look into in our interview after the session ends, as we expect an interview with him and our defending race winner, Dreamsy, who is currently all the way... Oh wait, he's way up in second, so yeah, Dreamsy looking strong this qualifying session as he's the highest placed car still running.
So, do we think that's going to be a factor into the way this grid forms up, gentlemen? Because I know Sniffer has set a nice time of 26.8, but is there going to be potential for those fast drivers like Pink or like Koenig to race like to set the faster times, especially a bloke like Breezy?
If I would have to say a word about that, I was following Sniper around his initial banker lap, and he was not aggressive. His lines were not aggressive. I've seen him on qualifying runs at the tip of his limit, and he was nowhere near for that banker lap. That was a very, very cautious lap, and I'm really surprised. I'm really curious to see where he went off. Really unfortunate, because they're Dreamsy, Ripperek, all these guys, they're gonna improve drastically. He did set a time 3/10 faster than everyone else, but everyone should be able to improve quite a bit going forward throughout the session.
Yeah, I agree. Usually the fast laps don't come in until at least the 8 minutes remaining mark, so another couple of minutes and we'll start seeing representative lap times as what these drivers can do.
So far we're still yet to see a couple of drivers such as Big Pong and Space Hero up there that have not set time. So Sniffer Pig still is holding that pole position. How long he can do that for will be the question. As Pecan sets his fastest lap, however, to that C3 medium compound tyre, he's got 27.8, so he's currently sitting P8. Is there any particular reason to think personally this racing calendar would be seeing what the medium lap times will be doing for us? We only have 18 minutes. It's not like we have a Q1, 2, or 3 with a full qualifying session. So, like, there's a lap there that he could really try and focus on getting his fast time on soft, but instead he goes for a C3.
He may be trying for an alternate tire strategy here to put himself off from the other drivers in the top 10, as tire wear is pretty high here at Silverstone, so we'll have to see how that plays out in the race.
Hey, Joe.
Racer improves by half a second, but sadly that time was invalidated, so it will not count, as he still is back in 7th. Almost a full second off of Sniffer's pole time, as Dreamsy now goes to the pole.
Dreamsy's set a 26.8, so he beats Sniffer by about 500 of thousandths of a second, whatever their current pronunciation is. With it, yeah, so he takes pole position, which is really interesting because Breezy is going to be trying to see if he can defend his race win from the previous weekend in Austria. Which was astounding when I looked back on the race as I was watching it live. I believe was it 0.033 seconds that he won?
Yeah, it was well under a tenth of a second. So, very close race as Ripper Rick goes purple in Sector 1. Expecting similar story here at Silverstone. It's a little bit more difficult to pass here at Silverstone than it is at Austria, but it still should be a fantastic race.
Gentlemen, I believe Glencoe in the Renault has been disqualified for this session. So, according to the race incidents from the stewards, it is for driving the wrong way. So, Glencoe will go to the back of the grid for the start of the race as we approach the 6.5 minute mark.
Ripper Rick setting purple sectors in at least Sector 2 from what I've just seen. This looks to be a really good lap.
Yeah, he was also purple in Sector 1, so this should be a new pole lap.
Definitely. Okay, not even improvement, 0.2 improvement, but not on pole.
Yeah, so
really lost a lot of time in that third sector, definitely.
Yeah, we'll see if he can piece it together or not. He looks like he's still on it, so...
He'll be happy with it, I think, but with only 5 minutes left and the fact that he's got a bit of wear out of those tyres now, he'll probably struggle to try and see if he can improve on that time.
Looks like Pecans was not happy with that attempt on the medium qualifying lap. He's out on softs right now. He's on his out lap trying to set a better time.
Smart move.
Smart. Very curious though, you know, because it's really it's a double-edged sword. You know, you have benefits of starting on mediums. You also have cons of starting on mediums, because when you have a higher fuel load and you use mediums, you can stretch out the medium, you can stretch out that time when you're on heavy fuel and you have tires that are a little bit more durable to handle that weight, whereas when you switch onto softs at the end of the race, your car's light, you have maximum grip and you can really get after it, especially at a track like this when you have a lot of overtaking opportunities in the front straight and the back straight, even through the chicanes. There's a lot of places you can be very aggressive late race when you're going up against guys that are on mediums that have been used maybe 5-10 lap old mediums, and you're coming on to softs that are only 2-3 laps old, and you could have a serious pace advantage if you manage your first stint well.
Something else to point out as well, it's really tough to get the track limits on your side. As we look at the incidents listed, there's a lot of drivers that have yet to finish a lap due to the fact that they are exceeding the track limits, and Silverstone is a track well known for people to exceed those track limits. Oh, that looked... I was just looking in the pits, and thank goodness for ghosting, because that would have been an interesting collision if that were real life. But as we look to Peacon, who's coming through Sector 2 now on his qualifying lap, whether or not he's setting faster times. Complete Sector 2 soon.
I do believe his lap is invalidated.
Yeah.
So Peacon really going to struggle here if that's the case, because he's out to P13, which is interesting because I did believe that he set a time previously.
Yeah, a lot of the front runners are in the pits now, coming down to 3 minutes remaining in qualifying. Drivers need to head to the track now if they want any chance at improving on their lap times.
It's interesting to see in qualifying we do have strict corner cutting stringencies, and to see the drivers being very, very cautious with respecting the track limits is interesting. a lot of these guys are leaving a lot of time on the table, unfortunately.
We will be
you know, being safe is one thing, but you really want to get up higher on the grid because you never know. Going into turn 1 at Silverstone is a tough one. It does look like Pecan did invalidate his lap as well. He's probably going to shift down all of his ERS and go again. He's going to try and get, I do believe he has plenty of time to get around. He's going to shift, yep. As I saw, he is in 0 ERS and he's going to build up his ERS and go again.
He'll only have 1 lap of opportunity to, what I would have thought, improve his time, but as I look at the time list, he's currently got no time, so maybe it's because he's yet to set a time on the soft compound compared to his medium.
Very curious. We did see him set a medium time. I don't understand why it's not showing us that.
He definitely did. Look to race director here, see if anything happened.
Regardless of the time they did set, I know it was a high 27s, and I believe he was P8 or 9, so that is exactly where he doesn't want to be, irrespective of the glitch that we may have seen.
So what happened was he exceeded the track limits to the extent to where his current time and his previous time was deleted. So again, strict track limits playing a big part here in qualifying, as Pecan may be starting at the back.
That's going to be really interesting because we only have about 60 seconds left, and Pecan is not going to be able to set another lap time due to his current Sector 1 as he sets a 27.4 in that first sector. So with the time remaining, he won't have another lap as we see Racer retire from the session, so he's happy with the 27.8.
He's aborted his lap. It's aborted.
He's had enough. Pecan will be starting from the back of the grid.
Unfortunate. Very unfortunate.
His teammate Seven sets a 30.2. A bit disappointing there from his teammate in the Haas. Cone Dodger, can he set a time? He does, a 28.7, which is just continuing to push Pecan all the way to the back of the grid. As he takes his vehicle off to the grass and retires.
Space Hero has spun it coming off of the hangar straight, pushing for his final lap, as he is staying off the track to let others go by.
So Ripper Rick has Ripper and Dreamsy to try and see if they can improve on their time as Dreamsy comes in the last corner. Unable to improve. Nope, my mistake. That was the MotoGP turn-off. But Dreamsy's still got 2.5 minutes to see if he can improve his time, as does Ripper Rick and Breezy.
Lonos comes through and jumps from 7th to 4th up in the other McLaren. And Ripper Rick goes to pole with a 26.650, it looks like, as that purple timing is hard to see.
Yeah, it really makes it difficult with clear weather in England. Dreamsy now coming into the last turn.
He's right in line with his personal best, but I don't think he's going to improve.
No, he's slightly off. He had 100th off, so there will be 2 there. As we got 1 driver left, Cone Dodger. It doesn't look like he's going to make it this time.
I will admit that initial banker lap time set by Snipper Pig, very impressive. To put it in the top 3, that was his only lap he set during the session. On that first set of tires, only 1 lap, and he's only 2/10 off pole. That's very, very impressive. I think his race pace is going to be off the charts if he can keep it clean going into turn 1. First few laps, keep it clean. He has some serious pace because he did not scratch the surface of his capabilities in that qualifying session. Really unfortunate as well to see Pecan. I do have a question for either of you guys if you have the answer. He did not set a time on either the mediums or the softs. The current softs that he's wearing right now had 2 laps on them. If he doesn't set a valid time in the session, does that mean he can start on a brand new set for the race?
I believe so. I believe that's how the rules work. Is due to you not being in the top 10, you can choose any tyre compound.
Oh, of course.
Fresh compound.
Right.
But those two tyres that he does have, the medium and the soft that he did use, will be used at the end of the race if, for whatever reason, he has to make more than 2 or 3 pit stops, which I don't see happening. But Picon will be in the back in the middle of the field, so it'll be interesting to see how he... Red, we have Picon and Kill the Birdman with Glencoe at the... Now interviewing Snipperpig as he joins the party chat for our interview. So Snipper, talk us through what happened, because we saw that you had a DNF for terminal damage. We had reports from the pit lane that you were entering the pit lane. We're trying to get an idea of how that's possible to do a DNF in the pit lane. So talk us through it.
So what happened was, I was on my in-lap, obviously, and I was pulling into the pits, and I got a notification on my phone, right? So I look down to check my phone, and then I look up, and I'm in the pit wall, and I have 3 wheels on my car.
So, I believe in school they teach you to don't text and drive.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
I do not believe Snipperpig does have his license at the moment.
I do.
I believe he is of age. This is a valuable lesson for him, for sure. A valuable lesson.
Have you learned your lesson, Snipper? Because when you go for your license, when you reach of age, just to give you a heads up, texting and driving does kill people. And it is not a game out there. It is real life. So be careful.
You know, I do normally have my phone in my glove box, but sadly we don't have one of those in an F1 car. So I'll just have to figure out another way, I guess.
From P3, Snipper, Apex did say that you set a blistering time for someone who wasn't using the track to its full potential. On the second road, what are your goals going to be for this race?
Probably just to keep P3, honestly. I'll try to fight my way up to the top. Try to stick with the top 2, but as long as I finish on the podium, I should be pretty happy. It's a track where you have a pretty big possibility of spinning, so I'll just try to keep it out of the wall and see how it goes.
Well, we'll leave you to it, Snipper. Good luck for the race.
It'll be close. Snipper's definitely going to put up a fight, but I think Snipper will be able to get up to second. I don't see him getting up to the win. I think Dreamsy might go 2 in a row here at Silverstone.
One of the reasons why I love this track is that there's really no place to hide. There's no walls. There's no corners that you can gimmick. This track, if you want to win this race, you just need the outright pace. If you have the outright pace to outrun your competition or run them down, that's the guy that's going to win the race. There's no gimmicks. There's no walls to take you out. No glitchy spots. This is probably one of the most raw races.
I have to agree with you there, Apex. Britain always pulls off great spectacular shows in real life and in the virtual world. But we do have our pole position sitter in the chat now as Dreamsy joins us live. Dreamsy, you should be pretty happy with that, mate, considering that, come off a spectacular win in Austria, and now you're on pole position in Britain.
Well, I think, first of all, thank you. And second, I think Ripper Rick got even faster than me, so I think I'm only second.
I do believe that is the case. I do believe you are.
Yes.
You did get second, but it was so close, so close.
Yeah, I'm still pretty happy. Like, I'm coming from a high from all.
Yeah, so Ripper, again, apologies for the stuff up. It was either my technical issues on my end or technical issues in my brain. But so you're still at the front row of the grid, irrespective. That's still a great achievement, like you said, that you had that unexpected win in Austria. What do you think you can back up with today in Britain?
Man, another win? That would be ideal, but we'll see. Like, Snipper, I think, is a person who I have to look out for. Breezy, Racer, both of the alphas. Hono is my teammate. Like, there's so many quick guys, so, like, I don't really know. I hope it's gonna be another podium. Like, that would be best case scenario. I'm trying to get more into the championship fight. But with all the people still getting great results and all that stuff, we'll have to see. I'm just gonna try my best, enjoy the race, and we'll see at the end what happens.
Well, thanks for your time, Dreamsy. Again, apologies for the stuff up, but you are still, as I said, on the first row from P2 position. We'll leave you to it. Good luck, and as I've just said before to Super Pig, don't text and drive. That'll be the common saying, I think, from after that. So good luck, mate. Have a good one.
Thank you. Enjoy the race, guys.
So the drivers are now in the new lobby. We'll have a short little break here on UDL, and we'll be back with you when we begin the broadcast of the race. Stay tuned.
Spyro, make sure that you're in spectator mode for the race.
Hey Dylan, you there?
Yes.
I just spoke to Pecan in regards to some of the weird things happening. Actions in regards to this on-the-fly decision. He has checked the time that he set on the mediums in regards to everyone else's times.
Yeah. Yes. Gotcha. No, I mean that's pretty much what race director said, so it makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense to give him the position back. Alrighty, so
Let's get this underway.
I'll wait for the sub to flop up and I'll start going again. Welcome back to Silverstone here in the United Kingdom for the Formula One Great Britain Grand Prix. The drivers have completed qualifying and we are moments away from lights out. We had news through the commercial break, if you want to call it that, that Pecan. Dylan, do you want to fill us in on the news on Pecan?
So, as I stated in qualifying, and as you saw on the race director screen on the stream, Pecan had his current and previous lap time invalidated on his softs tire run. Well, his only previous lap time was on the mediums. So as a result of them disqualifying his lap time that he set on the mediums when he was on the softs, we have decided to give him P9 back, which means he will be starting on the mediums.
Very interesting. So, and I believe our steward, who was also our sideline commentator for today, Apex, will be investigating it at the end of the race. So, still currently a pending investigation. However, for the time being, Pecan will start from P9, so that pushes Space Hero out to P10, and Get That Money Run will be allowed to choose the tyre of his choice, since he is no longer in the top 10. As Riperick will take everybody around for the formation lap. Do you think Pecan has a chance at getting a podium today now that he's at a P9 compared to being behind at the back of the grid?
It'll definitely be an uphill battle for him to make that many passes. Again, this track is not the easiest to pass on, especially when compared to a track like Austria with so many different heavy braking zones. Not really as many braking zones here. So it'll be difficult. He's still looking for his first win on the season, surprisingly. So it'll be a struggle for him to get that today.
I couldn't have said it better myself. You know, an uphill battle is a perfect way to describe it. Does he have the capability? Yes, he does, but you do need to have a significant pace advantage at this track to stay with the guy in front of you, to gap the guy behind, and then to overtake ultimately on guys with much stickier tires in front of you. If you look, he is the highest placed car on that medium tire. Everyone in front of him is going to have a softer tire, stickier tire, going to have more grip coming into corners, going out of corners. It's going to be really difficult for him. I'm curious to see if he has a lower downforce setup that maybe has better straight line speed he can overtake on the hanger straight. It's going to be really interesting to see, and I'm really looking forward to it.
The drivers are now taking their positions on the grid. We have 26 laps here around Silverstone. Controllers will be all set, the green flags are waving, and all drivers are now lined up, ready for lights out. We have 5 lights on the track, and we are racing here in Silverstone. Ripper Rick off in the lead now to Dreamsy, who might be on the inside. Slipper Pig coming on the outside of Dreamsy. No collisions as of yet, as Ripper Rick still holds his lead. Movement moving as Pecan dropping back into P11, back into P10. Still have the same at the front row. Drivers moving around now. Dreamsy drops back into P3. Slipper gets the move up. Honos now into P5 from Bossman P6. And it looks as though Imran Thunder still at the back with Killer Birdman. Space Hero now moves up back into P11 with Kona to P12. Bossman moves up into P5. Piggy now still in P2.
Well, this is a very tense battle between Snipper and Dreamsy.
So far, it looks as though Ripperick has got a fairly decent lead now onto Pig, as Dreamsy and Pig will battle it out. Dilsack moves, and it looks like Space Hero has gone all the way to the back of the grid, maybe an incident there, along with Dilsack, who is also all the way at the back of the grid.
And
it looks like Racer X has an issue as well. He's moving all the way to the back of the grid as he goes into P17.
Space Hero doesn't look like he has that much damage on a glance, so hopefully he'll be able to climb his way back up through the field. Right now, the biggest mover on lap 1 is Imperial, who just got past is currently battling with Sevo to make it 5 positions now up on this first lap. So nice to see him move his way up through this grid, as up front it's still Ripper Rick, who started on pole, in the lead with, glitch in timing and scoring there, as Snipper is in second and has got past Dreamsy, who is now being under pressure from Breezy in fourth.
Yeah, it looks as though Space Hero has entered the pits, so unaware of it. There was an incident that happened there with the Red Bull, so he's going to come out on the medium compound, which is interesting.
Wow.
So
Pecan and Get That Money and Run having a really close battle in Sector 2, coming into Sector 3 at the moment. They're side by side going into Meckens and Beckett's at the moment.
Pecan looks like he holds his position for P7, does go wide there, as does Get That Money Run. Get That Money Run now up in a P8, so he's up 3 positions from where he started outside the top 10. And Get That Money Run will probably have a bit of vengeance that he has on Pecan, considering Pecan did take his place out of that top 10 to start on those soft compound tyres.
As Breezy is defending viciously from Bossman, who tries to go up the inside at the end of the back straight. Breezy carries the momentum around the outside and keeps the position, so battling all the way through the field here in the early stages of this British Grand Prix.
From surface analysis, first position, second position, third position, and fourth position are all separated by a healthy margin of about 1 second. That really does allow you to get a healthy slipstream on every straight, but also maintain a fair amount of downforce coming into the corner. I can't say the same thing in relation to Breezy and Bossman, who are really only separated by 0.2 to 4 cents coming out of every corner. But I do see something very apparent, and it is Ripperick does have about a second advantage on Snipper coming around, but he does have a pretty significant ERS disadvantage at the moment. Virtual safety car.
Cone Dodger.
Yes. We do have a virtual safety car, so it looks as though Cone Dodger has been retired from the session, but I think it is against his own will, as there is a 5 grid place penalty for Glencoe. So Cone Dodger on that, just halfway between Sector 1 and 2, on that big hairpin there, it seems as though Cone Dodger has spun out of the track due to an incident from Glencoe, so virtual safety car is underway. It'll shortly be back to green racing, as I say it. Back to green racing. So Cone Dodger out of this race for the Ferraris, so going to affect the constructors there, considering that Snipper Pig is going to be pushing for the win, as it looks as though Glencoe is into the pits. So whether or not he can hold his position against Space Hero, regardless of what it is. I will confirm whether it was a 5-second time penalty or a 5 grid place. I did believe it was a grid place, but we'll have a look.
As, excuse the timing and scoring glitch currently happening. I'm not sure why that is, but Imran Thunder is currently in 15th, not in the lead, as timing and scoring is not quite happy right now.
So confirming Glencoe has received a 5-second time penalty for a severe collision with Cone Dodger.
Slight shake-up on the top 4. Right at the restart, at the end of the virtual safety car, Ripperick did gain about half a second, increasing that gap from about 0.9 seconds to 1.5 seconds. Definitely did have a better restart than Snipper Pig, and Snipper Pig looks like he's going to work hard to get that gap back, but he does look like he is saving quite a bit of ERS, as opposed to Ripperick, who's at about 55% maybe, whereas Snipper Pig easily over 80% at the moment.
interesting battle even P5 as well, as there is not much separating Bossman and Breezy. Oh, and as I say it, Bossman goes into the wall as flags will be waved. That puts Peak on up to P6, and it looks as though Glencoe has thrown in the towel. He's retired from the session. Or actually, I think he may have just left the session. So that'll be interesting to see what happens, considering that you're meant to retire before you leave. Then again, he may have had technical issues.
Looks like Boss got away relatively damage-free, but what that has done is it has created quite a big gap from fourth to third now, as that gap is almost a second and a half. In fact, it's over a second and a half. So top three still very close together, and then a bit larger of a gap back to fourth and fifth, who are still pretty tight.
So pit strategies will be critical going forward now.
Top four really biding their time, maintaining the gap, but not letting the driver in front of them really get out of their reach. Maybe Snipper Pig does need to pick up the pace. 1.6 seconds, you are starting to lose a little bit of that draft advantage. Maybe he needs to think about increasing the ERS a little bit to catch up to Ripper Rig, really take advantage of that slipstream and ease off of his ERS. Just a thought.
As Racers had another quick spin coming onto the front straight in the third sector. So, not quite the start to the race that he wanted, as Imperial is moving his way up through the field as he also gets past Dillsack.
So the closest battle that we kind of have from that top 10 is Breezy and Honos, as they are approaching Sector 2.
Again, apologies for timing and scoring, as Imran just now drops back down to 16th, where his actual position is. Not sure why that's doing that.
I'm not sure if either of you caught that, but Bossman going off in sector... Oh, no. Bossman and Get That Money and Run just come together in sector 2 at the end of Mackets and Beckett's, I believe. And there is a serious yellow flag in sector 2 and 3. It does look like they are avoiding coming back onto the track. That's always good to see. It's always really good to see. But back to my initial point, I'm not sure if you guys caught that, but when Bossman was off into Sector 1 into the gravel trap, he did receive a 10-second time penalty for exceeding the track limits. Since he didn't gain an advantage from that, and he really did lose a lot of time in track position, I do believe he could argue for eliminating that time penalty post-race. Does look like it was unfairly dealt on the part of the game, and as steward I can reverse that, but he will have to provide evidence that the game did make a mistake and that he did not deserve that 10-second time penalty.
As both him and Get the Money and Run are both in the pits for a wing change. Up front, it's still Ripper Rick in the lead. Again, excuse timing and scoring. Snipper Pig in second. Dreamsy in third. Breezy in fourth, as Spyro has left the party unexpectedly. Honos was in fifth, right behind Breezy, but has pushed it a little too hard through Maggots and Beckett's. Has lost a heap of time now. As we're starting starting to get into the latter stages of this tire stint. So we'll have to see when drivers consider making their first pit stops. As Pecan is now up into 6th place, starting from 9th, so he's slowly but steadily moving his way through the field.
Remember, he is on the medium tire. He is not on the prime option. Well, forgive me, he is on the prime tire. He's not on the option tire, so his lack of pace is very easily explained by his tire compound and as well as his excess fuel. He definitely is a factor at the end of this race for sure. If he keeps it on track, he keeps a relatively manageable gap to the guys in the front, he definitely will be a factor at the end of this race. He's definitely pushing, but not to the point where he can lose the grip in that tire too fast, because remember, he does have to go 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 laps more than the guys on the soft.
Indeed. For him to switch onto the softs and have the pace at the end, he needs to make sure that he doesn't burn the life off of these mediums too early, because he has to stay out long enough
Absolutely.
for his pit window to open. This battle now up front now seems to be for 3rd position. Again, apologies for the timing and scoring glitch. I'm not sure why that's happening.
It is very telling that these gaps are starting to close up as the tire grip starts to fall away. You really start to see the drivers that have a superior level of car control. When your tire starts to give up, when your grip starts to lessen, you really start to see the skill of the drivers come out.
Indeed, because Breezy is now right on the back of Dreamsy.
He really is.
So
yep.
It seems like the McLaren drivers are both struggling just a little bit as the tires ages. Breezy goes down to the inside on the hanger straight and gets the pass done before the braking zone even. So nice simple move there. It's early in this race. Dreamsy might have just realized it's not worth fighting for at this moment. He knows that Breezy's the faster car right now. Just run his own race and let him catch the leaders and slow them down and bring them back. As that is one of the Mercedes stopped on the inside there. It looks like it's Imran Thunder. That will drop him back through the field as the timing and scoring glitch seems to think he's a lap ahead of the field than what he actually is, unfortunately. Looking back through the rest of the field, the only other couple battles seems to be Dilsak's pretty close to kill the bird as DRS opens and he closes in on the back straight. Looks to the inside, but is not close enough this time by.
It does look like the battle for the top 3 positions are pretty set in stone in terms of this stint. You never know. You know, there might be a real safety car there, or hopefully not a virtual safety car because you have to maintain gaps, but the battle for the top 3 positions, for podium positions, other than the 3rd position, it does look pretty set in stone at the moment, but you never know. Mix-ups can happen in the pits, you know, so you have to wait and see.
And Racer, who just set the fastest 2nd sector of the race, he's battling tooth and nail with Get the Money in 15th, not a points-paying position. But with them battling, they're losing time, and another 3 or 4 laps, the leaders will be up to them. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Pardon me for a second, as the stream will temporarily cut out. As Ripper is in the pits, so is Snipper and Breezy. So Ono stays out and cycles to the lead. We'll be cycling controllers, as my controller is almost dead, so stream will cut out for just a second. So Ripper comes out in 3rd place, right in front of Savo, with Snipper coming out in 5th and Breezy in 6th. So, as Bossman has spun it coming out of the last corner, has front wing damage yet again. It's not the race that he wanted to, as Racer and Get the Money and Run both fly by. As Honos is in the pits. So that will promote Pecan to the lead if he stays out, which he should for quite a while yet. As Bossman has also left the session, so there are 2 AIs on track currently running in the last 2 positions. So Honos is underway as he puts on mediums. So has Ripper Rick, Snipper, and Breezy. They're all on the medium compound tires, and Honos gets passed by all 3 of them. 4 if you include Sevo, who's yet to pit. So up front, it's currently Pecan, who started in 9th on the medium tires, yet to stop, as has his teammate currently running in P3, Sevo. As far as those who have pit, it's currently Ripper Rick at the lead of that race, with Snipper and Breezy neck and neck coming down the old front straight. Kill the Birdman still yet to stop. Dreamsy in 8th on the new medium tires. Imperial in 9th. And Drew U24 in 10th. As we approach the halfway mark in this race. Just a lap shy of halfway. Interestingly, Sevo on the older medium tires is currently getting gobbled up by Snipper and Breezy. Defended but did not block as he tried to slow down the competitors to give his teammates as much time as possible. That way when he pits, he has a chance of improving. Ripper Rick just set the fastest lap of the race, just to be eclipsed by Dreamsy. So now that these new tires are equipped to the cars, lap times begin to fall. Would not be surprised at all to see Pecan set the fastest lap of this race once he puts on the softs with his light fuel load when he pits. Imperial is the only one on softs after starting on them. He is yet to pit still, as he is making those tires last a very long time. Get the Money and Run is the only human competitor right now on the hard option on the hard compounded tires. Breezy and Snipper are still neck and neck. As Dilsack gets passed by Drew Yu on the outside coming off of the back straight and is now under pressure from Space Hero. As just checking real quick, make sure it's good to go as far as the stream goes. Great three-way battle here for the final spots in the top 10. Final points paying position as Dilsack uses the DRS on the hanger straight. Gets past Drew. Drew looks for the undercut, not able to get it done as he looks to the outside. And is now under increasing pressure from Space Hero as that outside line sacrifices run onto the old front straight through the fast right-hand sweeper, and Space Hero gets the pass complete and looks to set his sights on Dilsack as he has still yet to pit in the 11th position. Dilsack on the outside gets passed by Space Hero, who deployed DRS masterfully and is now up into the 10th position. Meanwhile, up front, it's still Pecan, who has yet to pit over Ripper Rick. Snipper Pig, who is still just barely ahead of Breezy. So they are now within a quarter of a second of each other. Honos and Sevopie has dropped back to 6th position, as he is still yet to pit. Neither of the Haas's have pit yet. Seventh place is Dreamsy, 8th place Kill the Bird, 9th place Imperial, and 10th place Space Hero. As Sevo finally comes into the pits, and he will drop back towards the tail end of the top 10. Seems like Ripper Rick is slowly reeling in Pecan as Pecan is now on 15-lap old mediums and Ripper Rick has 10-lap newer tires. Pecan will not be able to keep his lead when he pits, as the gap is now under 4.9 seconds and closing drastically through Maggots and Beckett's. So it'll be interesting to see where Pecan comes out. It looks like he'll come out in about 5th or 6th position, maybe even 7th, as Dreamsy is catching his teammate Honos for 6th place. As Pecan's now in the pits, there's almost no doubt he'll put on the softs, as he does. Leaves pit lane in 5th position. There goes Dreamsy in 6th, as he has been. Pardon me, as I forget who's ahead of who. So yes, Pecan will come out in 6th position, approximately 11 to 11 and a half seconds behind Dreamsy in the top 5. So final stops. Finally cycling out for those who started on the medium tires. It's interesting that Pecan thinks he can do 10 laps on these softs, to where most of the front runners did about 8 to 9. Some pushing it to 10. So we'll have to see how Pecan can work his way back up as Dreamsy gets past the lapped traffic of Imran. Meanwhile, Breezy is right on the gearbox of Snipper, up for 2nd place. As you can see, that's all you can see is the bright red Ferrari through the halo. Meanwhile, the other news of note, the actual British Grand Prix, news on when that will be held, whether it will be postponed or not, from its current date will come out by the end of the month, supposedly, due to the global issues that is currently hitting the world, as YouTube does not enjoy that specific word. UDL is also having a WEC race on Project Cars 2 at Zhuhai tonight in mixed conditions, mostly rain, so it'll be interesting how drivers handle that, as Snipper is doing double duty. And I could be mistaken, but I believe Pecan may be doing commentary duties with myself for that race. As Breezy is still right there through Maggots and Beckett's onto the back straight. Deploying DRS. And pops to the inside. Gets the pass done well before the braking zone. So finally gets the pass done after staying behind Snipper since the pit cycle. It'll be interesting to see what Snipper can do as they come to the front straight to complete lap 18 and start lap 19, coming down to 7 laps to go. 7 and some change. As Pecan laps Imran. Has already closed that 11.5 second gap to Dreamsy down to 9.5 seconds. So we will keep an eye on that. Kill the Bird is still within DRS range of Space Hero after Kill the Bird pitted a lap ago. Space Hero yet to pit, making those... Oh wait, apologies. He pitted early in the race. His tires are now 17 laps old. It'll be interesting to see whether he takes them to the end. It'll be very difficult for him to do that. But he will be very reluctant to give up his points-paying position right now, as it almost looks like Kill the Bird gets into the back of him heading into turn 3. Excuse me. Out of turn 4, onto the hangar straight. Kill the Bird deploys DRS as they both lock up a little bit, heading off of the hangar straight. Will get the pass completed as Space Hero falls down to 10th position. Meanwhile, there's also a 3-car battle for 11th, as Kill the Bird's teammate fights to keep onto 11th position, might very well become 10th position if or when Space Hero pits. Drew's under increasing pressure from Dilsack, who's also under pressure from Racer. Not the race that Racer run it, as Dilsack runs wide through Maggots and Beckett's and does not get a good run onto the back straightaway. Racer and Breezy are desperately trying to close in on Snipper's championship lead. As we said, Silverstone very close to the midpoint of the season. The championship picture is starting to form a little bit. Racer all over the back of Drew, looking to the left, looking to the right, through turns 1 and 2 into turn 3, not able to get anything done. Drew is on the newer tires, but running in the dirty air, that will only increase the tire wear as they go side by side off the hangar straight. Racer pushes wide into Drew, possible contact there. Tries to hang it around the outside. We saw that line does not work earlier in this race, as they're side by side onto the old front straight, into the very high-speed sweeper. You can see Racer just lose all that time, as since he's right up below Drew's wing, he just has the aero push. The dirty air of the Williams just takes the air off the front end of the Alfa Romeo. but he's still right there, closes up through Maggots and Beckett's. He'll have DRS here on the back straight. Deploys it, goes to the inside, and gets the pass complete before the braking zone. Not quite as Drew Yu hangs it out on the outside. He'll have the inside line if he can keep it. He can't. Meanwhile, Dilsack pops to the inside looking for a way past Drew as Racer runs wide. Drew looking for a way past Racer. Left the door open for Dilsack in an amazing undercut onto the front straight for Dilsack. Still keeping an eye on the battle between Snipper and Breezy. Snipper's able to manage right on the back of... pardon me. Snipper is able to manage to stay right on the back of Breezy. And that battle for 11th has increased a little bit, as second and a half separates the three cars now. Dilsack still in DRS range. It'll be interesting to see whether he can keep it there through Maggots and Beckett's to get DRS on the back straight. Snipper used DRS to his advantage on the hangar straight, as I'm going to jump back to that battle. He got within a tenth of a second of Breezy. Again, you can see that gap increase through that fast right-hand sweeper, although not nearly as much as it did for the battle for 11th. Snipper is right on the back of Breezy, as now that gap increases as the aero push affects the Ferrari through the high-speed S's, as DRS is open, applied, and to the inside Snipper goes. Again, gets the pass done before the braking zone. Breezy falls back in line. Hopeful fight for another lap, as we're now down to 4 laps remaining in this British Grand Prix. Up front, it's still Ripper Rick about 4 seconds ahead, now encountering some lap traffic. That would be Bossman's AI, possibly. Yes, it would, as he's the only... pardon my French, I want to say Force India. Racing Point, there it is. Meanwhile, the battle for second is still hot, as Breezy engages DRS. Not close enough to do anything. Nope, not this time through. Honos is closing in on this group, as he's almost in DRS range. With these two battling hand and foot, tooth and nail, it has opened the gap, has opened the window for Honos to close the gap, as Breezy runs very wide, and that might be looked on at the stewards after this race, as he very much used all of the track and then some, exceeding track limits to help use Bossman as a pick to get past Snipper. Snipper will not be happy with that. Looks to the inside to retaliate, not able to get that to stick, as we'll have to see whether or not Snipper will fight that as we come to 3 to go. Meanwhile, the rest of your top 10 is Honos, who got held up by Bossman's AI a little bit sadly. Dreamsy in 5th. Pecan not able to do anything on those soft tires, unless if anything drastically happens. He will finish in 6th with his teammate in 7th. No, pretty good point stay for Haas, scoring double points. Kill the Bird in 8th, and again, excuse timing and scoring. Imran is not in 9th. Racer is in 9th, as Racer has just spun Imran, lapping him yet again, and after that incident, as Dilsack spins, it looks like Space Hero is going to finish in 10th, as he looks like he's going to try to do a 23-lap stint on those tires. Very good job by Dilsack to re-enter the course safely. So, unfortunate for that as Imran goes off again. Oh, and Space Hero, as I say that, he has a flat tire, so pushing the tires just a little too hard. Very unfortunate for him. Could have happened as a result of that collision with Drew. No wing changes, so looks like, not Drew, pardon me, with Dilsack. So unfortunate for him. Have to pit with 3 laps to go. Meanwhile, up front, it is Breezy. Still under pressure from Snipper, coming to 2 to go. We will follow this battle until the end, as it is one of the only battles on track, as Space Hero comes out and unfortunately splits up that battle just a little bit. Costs Snipper about half a second there. Meanwhile, Honos is right there on Snipper. He is within DRS range of Snipper, who's barely hanging on to DRS range of Breezy, so Snipper could fall off the podium here, folks. Honos has the newest tires. They're only a lap newer, but he has been running in clean air. So as a result, he will definitely have the freshest tires of these 3 drivers. They're about equally spaced here. Approximately 6.5 tenths separating each of them, as that closes down to 4 tenths between the first 2. Seems like that McLaren might be running a bit more downforce than the rest of these drivers, as it doesn't seem like he's closing in as much on the straights and more in the twisty bits. As they come to the last lap, Ripper still up front, maintaining a 4-second lead. Our biggest mover in this race is Kill the Bird, up 8 positions. As the biggest loser seems to be Dilsack after that spin through Maggots and Beckett's a couple laps ago. Yellow flag in Sector 2. Not sure what that would be. It's one of the Toro Rossos who is just ahead of this battle, as it does a very good job pulling out of the way of this battle for second place. As Snipper, it's do or die as he comes through Maggots and Beckett's, through the green flag, out of the yellow flag zone, can make a move, looks to set it up on the back straight, deploys DRS. Honos is right there to pick up the pieces. X-Breezy goes defensive, legal move, forces Snipper to go the long way around off of the back straight. Snipper runs wide and has to fall back in line behind Breezy. Honos possibly gives Snipper a little bump there to let him know, hey, I'm still here. Ripper takes the win. Breezy will come across the line in second. Snipper third. Honos fourth. Dreamsy in fifth. Pecan coming through the final chicane now. Solid sixth after starting in 9th position after being wrongfully disqualified in qualifying. Imran is not in 7th. That would be Pecan's teammate, Sevo, in 7th. Very fitting. Meanwhile, in 8th, it will be Kill the Bird. 9th will be Racer, as the battle is still on for 10th, as Drew runs wide through Maggots and Beckett's. Doesn't look like he'll be able to do anything. Kill the Bird comes around the last corner for 8th, Racer in 9th. The battle for 10th has indeed been stretched out. Looks like Get the Money and Run, after not having the start that he wanted, does manage to come through into the points-paying positions. Chuyu comes across the line in 11th. We'll have to sort out and see whether Imran finished in 8th or not. I don't believe he did. So, an amazing race by the Toro Rosso driver as the Italian marks round out the podium. Phenomenal battle for second place throughout most of the race, as McLaren scoring 4th and 5th, so they will definitely make a huge leap in points in the Drivers' Championship. Not quite the day that Ferrari wanted, as Kona retired early in the race. So Imran is scored in 8th. I'm not sure if that's accurate or not. But Ripper Rick, dominant race from him. Other than the pit strategy, basically led from flag to flag. Breezy, hard-fought battle in second. We'll have to see what the officials think of that outside move heading into Maggots and Beckett's. Snipper rounding out the podium with Honos, and Dreamsy rounding out the top 5. Again, good day for McLaren. Pretty solid day for Haas. Not the day that Racer wanted at all, as he comes home in possibly 9th, depending on Imran. So that'll be it for Silverstone, folks. Thank you for watching, and the Zuhaya WEC race should be on later tonight, as we'll have to see what happens. That might be the last WEC race broadcast on this channel. We'll have to see how it goes. So that'll be it, folks. Thank you, and good night.